We've had a meeting today with the heads of various banks, both in the public sector and the private sector. All banks were represented in the meeting today. The obvious discussion items included the assessment of the banks with regard to the state of the economy, the health of the banks themselves, particularly with regard to the NPAs, and the roadmap that they have on reducing the stressed and the non-performing assets. The state of the credit growth, the stalled projects, the state of educational loans and housing loans, the roadmap for the implementation of the Mudra Bank, because from agency it has to evolve into a bank, the improved role of private sector banks in various governmental schemes, which are the social sector schemes, and obviously the further transmission of the rate cuts by the banks. These were the broad issues which we have discussed today. Well, we can take some satisfaction of the fact that even though international agencies are rating us as perhaps the fastest growing amongst the emerging economies, but our own level of ambition is higher, and therefore we consider that the economy is recovering from the serious challenges it has faced in the past few years. Basic fiscal data looks good, and we are on a roadmap for a much higher growth. The government, of course, I told the banks, in terms of policy initiatives, in terms of expediting the execution of stalled projects, will continue to play a very important role. Government spending in infrastructure has increased, and the banks themselves have felt that in sectors like roads, renewable energies, the effect of that is now being felt. Retail credit has picked up. It's the corporate credit which has still to pick up. And therefore, amongst the challenging situations which came up in order to improve the economy, and consequently the health of the banks also picks up with that. In the quarter ending 31st March 2015, the NPAs had come down from 5.64% to 5.2%. As I had mentioned earlier, one quarter itself doesn't indicate a pattern, so I would like to wait for some more time before realizing as to what the pattern is. The banks themselves are of the assessment that it may take them 2 to 3 quarters to reach a somewhat more greater comfort level. There was a lot of concern with regard to stalled projects. Many have started, and therefore we decided that even though in the Cabinet Secretariat an effort is being made, the Prime Minister himself has taken a series of meetings. the Secretary of the Department of Financial Services, in consultation with the banks, purely from the banking point of view, will prepare a list of those projects which are stalled on account of reasons of finance. And therefore that is something which we directly deal with. And both the Secretary and even when necessary at my level, we'll be calling for a meeting of the representatives of the state governments, those projects and even concerned departments over the next few weeks and trying to resolve those projects. In fact, some illustrations were also given of projects where problems are capable eminently of a easier solution. We are of course keeping our fingers crossed as far as the monsoon is concerned. We are in the midst of monsoon, and I have already announced this earlier, and I informed the bankers also that with the revenue position becoming more comfortable, there is going to be a much greater investment in agriculture, so that we are able to help for future years the rural demand itself to pick up. Banks themselves are going to make an effort to reduce their NPAs. We did ask each of the banks which has a higher NPA level to explain the reasons and those groups on account of which the defaults were higher. Additionally, the banks put up a strong case for additional capital being inducted into the banks. And over the next few months, this is something which the government is going to seriously look at. The social sector schemes were also discussed. And I'm glad to inform you that as far as the two insurance schemes are concerned, the Jan Suraksha and the Jeevan Jyoti Yojanas, we have now touched a figure of 10.17 crores. Now these schemes was launched on the 9th of May. And today, in just 3 months and 1 month and 3 days, we've already crossed the 10 crore figure, which actually shows that in district after district of the country, lakhs and lakhs of persons are getting enrolled. The initial participation of the private sector banks in these schemes had not been as much as the public sector banks, but today, seeing the response, the private sector banks have also said that they are also receiving a very encouraging response and queries, and therefore they are also going to participate in a big way as far as these schemes are concerned. With regard to transmission of rate cuts, there was a detailed presentation as to how much each bank has done. You've had 3 rate cuts of 25 basis points each from December right till June, and some part of it has been passed on to the customers, whereas the banks had not passed on. I expressed a hope that over the next few days, and some of the bankers also felt that over the next few weeks they would be in a position to work out greater cuts. They have of course expressed their own problems relating to their balance sheets and higher rates of the social sector, small saving schemes, and therefore they have asked us to look at those small saving schemes. All I can say was that the meeting was, the environment was optimistic, since the movement, even in the banking sector, appears to be for the better. And this gives us a further hope of a greater recovery as far as the economy is concerned. Thank you. That's all I had to say.
मेक इन इंडिया के बारे में बोला, मेक इन इंडिया के बारे में बोला कि भाई बहुत अच्छा लोगो है, बहुत बड़ा शेर है, मगर शेर की आवाज़ सुनाई नहीं दे रही है, उसमें कुछ हुआ नहीं है, वहीं का वहीं पड़ा हुआ है। और रोजगार जो आना चाहिए था, जो मोदी जी ने वायदे किए थे रोजगार के वायदे, वो अभी किसी को दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है। तो ये चीज़ें उठी थी।